Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Coe Riverside Farm. We've made it into December. We're feeding some sloths this morning. Flash is up here above me, and this right here is Dash. He's a two-finger or two-toed Linnaeus sloth. Did you know that a two-toed or two-fingered Linnaeus sloth can live to 50 years old? There were two sloths in Germany, Jan and Paula, and they made it to 52 and 54. This little guy, though, he's only about 15 months old. Flash there behind us, he's 7. And then right there is Michaela and Chloe. And Chloe, how old do you think Chloe is? About 7 months?
Yeah, about 7 and 7.5.
Look how cute and tiny she is. She is the cutest little thing ever. So sloths eat 10% of their body weight every single day. Dash here just woke up from his nap this morning and he's having a little bit of breakfast. Here at Coe Riverside Farm, it's a little chilly outside. It's definitely winter here at the farm. But what's awesome is sloths require their environment to be between 75 to 80 degrees. So when you come visit, it doesn't matter if it's a little chilly outside. It's always going to be warm when you're cuddling these cute little sloths. Where's everybody watching from this morning? I think the other day we had Austria, Australia, and Antarctica. It was like the AAA of countries or continents, I guess. Let's see, a giant playground with sloths. Wow, I've never heard of that. That sounds cool. I did know that sloths from a long time ago loved to eat avocados. So here's the deal with the giant ground sloths of a long time ago. So they were so big that they didn't live in the trees. So when they would make these burrows and go through, they were eating avocados. So when they eat the avocados, the seeds would pass through them. So at the end of those tunnels, they would find giant groves of wild avocados. So if you love real guacamole, not that green sour cream, you can thank the sloths of old. Let's see if we can zoom this out a little bit. Looks a little tight. I think we're just zooming in on the rice grains. There we go. Guys, we have a couple moderators that do a really good job of helping us out. We have Sis and Lorraine, and a lot of times when we can't respond to a question, it's because we're actually doing an encounter or pondering our deepest thoughts, which include how to do more sloth cuddles, because we love cuddling sloths. Hey, Heather in Ohio, thank you for watching. Thank you everybody for watching. We really appreciate all the gifts and the shares and the likes. That makes it possible to keep it nice and warm for these toasty little creatures, because they got to keep it warm. And here's why sloths have to stay so warm. So they process their food through a bacterial process. That bacteria's got to stay warm, okay? So they need their environment to be between 75 to 80, maybe even 85 degrees. If it get much warmer or colder than that, they start basically shutting their systems down, okay? They never enter a form of hibernation nor torpor, but they can slow their metabolism all the way down to only about 300 calories per day. That's crazy. I wish I could maybe increase my caloric consumption. I think that would work out well for me on the holidays. Maybe save some changing of some outfits. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Look at Chloe back there. She's like, oh, look at these yummies. Michaela, what's your favorite animal here at the farm?
I mean, I am the sloth keeper, so probably the sloths. I don't know, it's kind of like kids, you can't really pick your favorite. They all have their different personalities, and maybe some are favorites on Sundays than the others. But as a whole, all 4 of the sloths, I really enjoy them. Chloe's our youngest, she's only 7.5 months old. And then our oldest is 7 years old, and that's Flash. But they're all different ages and different personalities and everything. Chloe's just eating her breakfast this morning.
Guys, it's really cute when they're eating their food, and sometimes it gets a little bit wedged in their little nose or in their little claws. They kind of look like a little baby Edward Scissorhands when they're trying to get that last little grain of rice out. A couple people had some questions about the lodging. So here's the deal with our lodging. Yes, you can cuddle a sloth in your covered wagon, but there are some restrictions. Just go to the website and you can see what all of them are. But I think it's the coolest thing ever. I mean, you get to hang out inside a covered wagon with a sloth. Pretty cool. We also have Joy and Georgie, the spider monkeys, and we have Finn and Gwen, the fennec foxes. Fennec foxes are really cute. They kind of look like a mix of like a really tiny big cat and a dog. Their ears are huge. They stick way out. Chloe is always getting our food stuck. You're right. Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Ocoee Riverside Farm. This is Dash here in my arms. Flash is up above me. And then Chloe and Michaela are hanging out right there. Let's see here. We'll see if Flash wants another little bite. So, what kind of questions do you guys have about sloths? Do you want to know like what their favorite car is or their favorite pizza? They haven't really shown any interest in pizza, but sloths do love fruit. So sometimes we have mango day for Flash right above us, and he really gets into it. He'll smear it all over his face. I'm pretty sure there's a video back there when John's having mango day with Flash. It's about the cutest thing ever. Let's see, he didn't dig the sweet potato this morning. So Flash eats a mix of sweet potato, green beans, rice, and squash. Looks like he's digging the squash on that one. I'm gonna bring it a little bit closer so you guys can see him. There we go. Oh, he's still chewing on it. So sloths, they eat 10% of their body weight every day. So Flash up there above me, he weighs about 15 pounds. So he's eating over a pound of food. Now normally, you know, they're gonna be eating leaves and things like that. So that's the reason that it was such a high amount, because they're eating all those very low energy dense foods. Here he gets a little bit more energy dense food. There we go. I think we got everybody. I'm going to try to get him a green bean.
Yeah. Flash's favorite food is green beans, but if he knows that green beans are on the menu, he doesn't want anything else. So usually with the green beans, try to see what else he's in the mood for, and then we bring out the green beans because he loves them. They're the cutest thing ever to hear him crunch on them too, but then if I used to have to say fiance, but now I can say husband, chews with his mouth open like that. I'm like, close your mouth.
And that's not me. I'm not the husband.
No.
the husband is Vladik
Yes.
Warner. Oh, I'm trying to feed him too quickly. He's a little bit slow. So here's the key. When you guys come for a sloth encounter, Flash wants to hang out with you as long as possible. But it helps if you're feeding him. So if you get in a rush like I almost just did, and you're feeding him too quickly, then he's going to be like, oh, I'm done eating. Time for me to take a break. So you want to feed him nice and slow. And when you pet him, we advise maybe even using the back of your hand so that way you don't do the cat scrunch, okay? So it's going to look like this. So this is a great way to gently pet the sloth. Because we find that what happens sometimes when they pet like this, they're just so cute. You can't resist. And you just start scrunching on them. And then they go away because they don't like the scrunches. So, try to pet with the back of your hand and don't give in to the scrunches. Isn't that what you call it?
Yeah, scritches.
Scritches, that's the word. Michaela and I did not grow up very far from each other, but she knows a whole different language than I do. It is amazing. I consider myself bilingual now, thanks to you.
Yeah, Tennessee's like that.
I mean, North Georgia, I think you might have had more red lights than us. We only had a blinking one. I don't know if it's because it didn't work or that's how they designed it, but it wasn't good. Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Kelly Riverside Farm. You got Michaela holding Chloe there. Flash is up there trying to do sit-ups and eat green beans. This is Dash. Guess what? They're all two-fingered or two-toed Linnaeus sloths. You can hold low energy dense foods, and they need to conserve their energy. So if they move in a very energy conservative manner, they don't have to eat as much. You see Flash there looking behind us. He's like, hey, you got any more of those good green beans? They are cute. Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Kelly Riverside Farm in Benton, Tennessee. Where are you watching from? So I'm gonna help Michaela tell you guys some really awesome news. So we were trying to tell you yesterday, but we got cut off. A lot of people were wondering what it was. I had some messages say, are you pregnant? I'm not pregnant. Guess what? She's not pregnant either. There's no baby. There's not a baby. But it is something really awesome. And it means she gets to do more things with animals. Do you want me to say it or do you want to say it, Michaela?
I guess I'll say it. I get camera shy sometimes, guys. So I had applied to vet school last year, and that was the whole idea when I started working here, because I got declined the first time. So I started working here to get some more experience with exotic animals, and that's where I met my husband, and so it's worked out really well, and God's timing has been really cool to focus on, and so I've applied again this year, and I just got my email 3 days ago now that I did get accepted.
Yeah, she got accepted!
Yeah. So I'm going to the University of Tennessee, and I'll be starting next fall.
Awesome!
Yeah.
Guys,
super exciting.
Michaela worked really hard. I mean, this takes a lot of effort to get into vet school because I worry all the time about how to try to give CPR just on the sloths, and they have to learn like thousands of animals. Inside, outside, they're doing everything. So it's not like, oh, I gotta go to my dentist. I gotta go to the pediatrician. You're doing everything for all the animals. So I don't think people really think about it. They're like, oh yeah, it's a vet. Yeah, if all you're dealing with is Frodo the little dog, that's fine. But if you're dealing with all the other animals, it's a big deal. So congrats, Michaela. Way to go.
Super exciting.
Back to our normal scheduled Balarcus of sloths. No, I'm just kidding. Good morning, everybody. If you're just now joining us, we're live here at Kelly Riverside Farm. We got Flash up above us, Michaela, Chloe, Dash, Kevin, and I think my pink t-shirt should actually have a name. I think I'm going to call it Pinky. Let's see, we got any good questions here? Indiana, good morning, Jeremy in Indiana. Thank you so much for watching. Guys, we are doing a nativity. I think it's next weekend. It might already be full. We are teaming with a local church, and I think they're setting up and doing everything. You can check it out. It's on our event page. We had our Holy Ghost Wiener Roast this year, and I thought it was pretty awesome. We had more people here than live in Benton. So only like 1,400 people live in Benton, and almost 1,700 people showed up. Speaking of 1,700, get this. We have a giant camel. I mean, huge. It's like Goliath. I think we should have named him that. But he's the biggest camel in North America. He's so big they had to cut a hole for him to even go through in the barn, for real. So his name's Ed. He weighs 1,750 pounds. And here's the cool thing. You can take a ride on him. Kids love it because you're so high up. Like where your head is, you're like 9-10 feet up in the air. So you're riding around and you're looking at like other camels, kangaroos, zebras, llamas, alpacas. It's really cool. I'm gonna go put Dash down. I'll be back in just a second with another animal. We'll slow it down a little bit with Michaela. You'll be able to understand what she's saying. She'll give you guys some good knowledge.
Guys, so the reason that Kevin says a lot of times that what we have here are two-toed or two-fingered sloths. Is because on the back you see that they do have 3 claws, but they're considered to be two-toed sloths. It just makes more sense to say two-fingered, because if you look on the front, she'll show you, they've only got 2. So whoever decided to call them two-toed sloths, I guess just thought that all 4 limbs were legs, but it does make more sense to say two-fingered, and so that's why we use them kind of interchangeably. So two-toed, two-fingered, same difference. There are 3-toed sloths as well, and they have 3 claws on the back and then 3 on the front. Those are the ones that typically people think of when they just picture a sloth in their head. They see a 3-toed sloth. Those are the ones that have that darker band across their eyes. These guys don't. They just kind of have the darker coloration all over their face. But that's typical for a 3-toed sloth. We just don't have any 3-toed sloths here because 3-toed sloths, their diets are really, really sensitive, and they can really only eat the leaves of the sarcopia trees. Those don't grow in North America. So to own a 3-toed sloth, you basically have to have a private jet to fly you to and from the rainforest once a week to get you the leaves that they eat. Are the sloths soft? The sloths that we have here are super soft. Chloe is the softest because she's the youngest. Flash looks super coarse. He kind of has some Albert Einstein hairs in the back, but he is actually pretty soft as well. Now, compared to what they would be in the wild, in the rainforest, they'd have super coarse fur. Their hair would be super bristly. And that's because they would have an entire ecosystem growing and living on their backs. And so with all that, it's a lot easier for them to have more coarse, bristly hair. But in captivity, they don't have the ability to grow any of that because they're not getting rained on over and over again. And they don't need that ecosystem because they're not trying to be camouflaged from anything like they would be in the wild. Do they have a typical wild smell? Sort of, because they have that entire ecosystem that's living on their backs. Sloths don't have a natural smell to them, no scent glands, musk glands, or odor at all. But in the wild, they smell just like the rest of the rainforest.
Did you finish what you were saying there, Michaela?
Yeah,
You sure?
I think so.
Okay. You didn't want to interrupt. All right, guys. We brought in some other animals. Now these, come on over here, Fallon.
Working on it.
Oh, she's working on
I'm
it.
being a sugar glider wrangler at the moment.
They are moving around. So Fallon has sugar gliders. Fallon, you go ahead and talk about them since you might have
Yeah,
to move
look at these
quicker.
little guys. So these are sugar gliders. Let me get a little bit closer here. They got these really cute long tails which help them glide through the air. So they don't fly. A lot of people see them, they're like, oh, it's a flying squirrel. It's not a flying squirrel. Sugar gliders are in the marsupial family, so they'd be more closely related to kangaroos, koalas, and so marsupials are mammals with pouches, and that's what these little guys are. They come from, sugar gliders originate in Australia, and they can make really good little pets. As you can see, they climb all over you. But like I was saying, they don't fly, they glide from person to person. And so they can't fly up, which is flying. They glide at the kind of this pace and down direction. And then they use those long tails to kind of steer as a little rudder as they're gliding through the air. They're looking at all these other animals
They
like,
are.
what? Look at her looking. I know.
What's that
What
sound
is-
they're making?
So that's called crabbing, and it's a sound that they make when they're startled or they're just kind of like, hey, I'm here. They're making like an awareness noise and like, hey, I'm here, don't squish me, basically. And so that's what that crabbing noise is. They also make like a barking noise, and it sounds exactly like a little puppy that's barking. And they'll usually make that noise at night because they are going to be nocturnal and really active at night. He's crawling down here, actually, she. And they make that barking noise at night a lot when they're in their pouches, I've noticed. Got this other one you can see here in my hood. In the wintertime, we walk around often with little critters in the hoods of our sweatshirts because we still need to handle the animals every day. That's how we have friendly and approachable animals and the purpose of our farm. And in the wintertime, it's no different, but they like to hunker down and be in our nice little warm spots like our hoodies of our sweatshirts.
Awesome.
So that's some sugar gliders for you.
So will they just jump from like you to
They
me,
could.
or
Yeah. I've been kind of waiting for them to do it, and
Go
they're
for it, buddy.
pretty set at the moment. We'll see.
I was watching a video yesterday and they were doing it all like they show their hand out like this,
Mhm.
and they were just jumping to it every time.
Mhm. They probably have them trained to do that in like little treats.
Fallon, do that in your spare time.
Yeah, right. I was waiting for that one. Fallon, make it do that. Yeah, I'll work on that. I'll put that on the list of things to do.
Guys, Fallon is really good at training animals and getting them to do what they need to do, and so that's the reason I glibly sometimes say, hey Fallon, get that animal to do this.
Yeah, like on it.
Thank you so much
Yeah,
for showing
you're
us
very
the sugar
welcome.
gliders. You have them both on the back of your head.
Okay, alright. They're pretty attached there.
Guys, that was Fallon. She's not on a lot of lives, but she does a lot here at the farm. She's basically the on-site farm manager, helping everything to run smoothly, knows a ton about horses, and she's the person that's been working with Zeke. Zeke is the baby zebra that has been born here on the farm, and I guess he's what, 2-3 months old now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's doing really, really well. So they've been working on making sure that they can put a halter and lead him around. And the reason that we want to do that is that zebras live much longer than horses. So a zebra is in the equine family, but they're going to live close to 50 years. So if you want to have a healthy zebra, you need to make sure that you can give appropriate veterinarian care. Now, we're not trying to saddle them up and win any races, so a lot of people think that we're trying to do something like that. That's not what we're doing. We're just trying to make sure that the zebra is healthy, he's safe, and we're safe. Does that line up with what you think there?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, this little thing that I have is not a deformed softball. This is a 3-banded armadillo, and his name is Baku, or Bakugan. And the reason that we have him hanging out next to these awesome sloths is they're in the same superorder. And that superorder is called Zothoran. That's the main reason I wanted to learn about it, because I think it's the coolest sounding word I've ever heard, Zothoran. And what that word means is hinged spine. So just how you can see, and this is perfect right here. See how he's balled up? See how Flash is balled up? Guess what? The armadillo, the sloth, and the giant anteater, those are the only 3 mammals that can ball themselves all the way up. It's truly amazing God gave them that ability. And so they're doing that to protect themselves. The armadillo does it with his carapace, or his shell. That's made of material called keratin. Keratin is the same material that makes up our hair and our nails. Isn't God amazing that He can design this? I don't think humans can even get this right. Pretty cool. Good morning, everybody. We're live here at a Coe Riverside farm. I'm holding Baku, who's super chill right now. Flash just leaned down and was like, hey, is there any more snacks? You want another green bean, bud? Maybe one more green bean and then back home for him, you think?
He's not ate too much this morning. We can offer him a little bit more green beans if you want to. Get some more out for us.
A lot of times I'm scared of, or not scared, but I don't want to feed too much because we do encounters with Flash in the mornings, 10, 10:30, or 11. So we're not trying to overfeed any of our animals, so I'm not trying to shove food down his mouth usually when I'm hanging out with him.
And sloths only have a one-way valve that only allow food to go into their stomach and not back out. We have a two-way, so we can regurgitate our food, which is helpful if we eat something that doesn't sit right or we get sick to our stomachs. But sloths can't do that, and so we have to be careful about how much we feed and what we feed, because, like I said, if they eat something that's not good for them, they're stuck with that for approximately another 30 days. That's about how long it takes for one bite of food to go through their entire digestive tract and out the other end. So for us, it takes about 56 hours, but for them, it's a lot longer. And that's the reason why they only go to the bathroom once a week. They only go about every 7 to 10 days, and so when they do go, it's a massive amount. They expel about 1/3 of their entire body weight, so they're just set up entirely differently than we are.
Hey guys, I saw a couple of questions flying through there. Thank you for all the questions and comments. Why they can't throw up? Michaela was explaining that right at the beginning. There's a check valve So once the food goes in, it can't come back out. That's what she was just saying. How many times do they eat a day then? It's not really how many times. They're more like constant snackers. So it's about 10% of their body weight. Do you agree that's pretty much just throughout the day?
Yeah, throughout the day. In the wild, for sure, it's a lot more consistent throughout the day. In captivity like this, we feed them twice a day, and the babies are 3 times a day. But in the wild, when they're eating 95% leaf material, they're just kind of snacking on that all throughout. And they really focus more on the end of the branches. They'll go out on the very end where the fresh leaves are growing. And so they'll eat the whole end of a branch out there, all the leaves that they want to eat, and then they'll travel to another end of the branch and find that one to eat on it, and kind of go like that. But set up a little bit differently. And here where we're at, but they work pretty good. The 2-toed sloths are a lot more adaptable than the 3-toed are, which is why we don't have any 3-toeds. They're pretty difficult to keep in captivity.
That's exactly right. We have basically brought the supermarket to them. We're like the Uber Eats of the sloth's diet versus them having to go out and hunt for it on. So when a lot of times when people say, "Oh, put the sloths back in the wild," these sloths were never in the wild, first of all, and I think they like the hand-delivered food too, and they don't have to worry about any predators. In terms of what a sloth would look like in the wild, a sloth's not going to look anything like this. When you see it out in the wild, it will probably be balled up, and it's going to look like a dirty wasp or hornet's nest. They're going to be covered with 100 to 200 bugs, algae, kind of greenish tint. They're going to have stuff growing on them. So a lot of times if you go to Costa Rica or Honduras and you're kind of on a guided hike to go look and see some sloths, you're going to see something balled up there, and they're going to say, "That's a sloth," and it's going to look like a dirty version of that. The animals was trying to grab the food. Well, yeah, I'm going to go put Baku the armadillo back in just a minute. But we are going to try to get a girl one and name her Shaka Khan. I think John really wants that music to have Bakugan and Shaka Khan. I'll be back in just a minute. You good, Michaela?
Yeah.
Okay.
How's everybody doing this morning? Do they have any questions for us? We're not doing any sloth encounters this morning, so we've got free time to ask some questions. Usually when we do the sloth encounters, we don't have a whole lot of time to answer questions for you guys because we're just focused on the people that are doing the encounters and have paid to come and see the sloths. Why do they move so slow? That's because they're designed to move slow. They only eat a very low calorie diet. They're eating 95% leaf material. And leaves don't have that many calories in it, and it takes calories to make energy. So they don't have a whole lot of energy to just be expending, moving around and everything. We're located in Benton, Tennessee. We're about halfway in between Chattanooga and Knoxville. Yes, that is a real sloth on the ceiling. My favorite animal is sloths too. So this is Chloe. Chloe is 7.5 months old. And then Flash, up above me there, Flash is about 7.5 years old. There's so many questions going through, I can't read them all. Yes, this is where I work. Can they eat more calorie foods to move faster? I mean, in captivity, yes, they're eating fed a much higher quality diet, and so they're a lot more active in captivity than they would be in the wild. In the wild, they sleep upwards to like 20 hours a day. In captivity, they don't sleep quite that much, and they're moving around a lot more because they have more energy. Do sloths make any noise? Yes, they do, especially the babies. They vocalize. Chloe, when she sees somebody and they're not holding her, she'll go, meh, meh. Or when they're babies, they'll say, oof, oof. And Zoe, or other sloths, she was an oof baby, so much so that we almost named her Oof. And then Chloe does that noise a lot as well. If they're startled by something, they can make kind of a hiss sound. And then the female sloths, when they go into heat, will actually let out a really loud screech periodically to let all the males know that she is ready to be bred. what's your favorite enrichment item activity that you use for this sloth? So a fun fact about sloths is that they don't really need enrichment like other animals do. We have enrichment items in there for them to use, like different types of ropes and different types of feeders that we use to give them, like their lettuce and things like that that will stick in that they're gonna have to move around to be able to eat off of it. But they're very different than, like, you know, big cats, for example. They need a lot of mental stimulation when they're kept in smaller enclosures than what they would be in the wild. Otherwise, they go stir crazy. Sloths, you know, sloths are naturally very slow animals and don't really move around that much, and so they really don't need a whole lot to kind of keep their minds busy. We still have items in there and everything. Probably the ropes would be my favorite, just because when they go on, they're kind of a lot more saggy than what the branches are, and so they slope down real low, and they've got to kind of figure out how to climb back up. But a lot of times they just avoid those. It's more work than what's needed for them. Are the different colors an age thing? Yes. So Chloe right now is all one solid color, but if you look underneath her fur, it's a lot lighter. And so as she gets older, her hair will grow out into that color, and Flash, you can see he's a lot lighter. The darker color is just up on the top of his head and on his legs. But when he was a baby, he was all one solid color as well. And they all kind of start out with this little cowlick that they have on their backs right there. And Flash has one too. He has more than one, actually. The whole back end back there, he would. There's kind of several little cowlicks that just go every way. And it makes him look like he's got Einstein hair.
I got distracted by Fallon, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
She tried to give me a micro squirrel. So I was trying to bring you guys another animal, and she gave me a small one. It was a lot smaller than this, but then I saw Mia, and I really wanted to bring Mia out here. So Mia is a chinchilla, and about the softest thing that you've ever felt in your entire life. So part of the reason that chinchillas are so soft, it has to do with how many hairs per follicle. So a human has, 2 to 3 hairs per follicle, maybe more. I don't know. I might have some more. Do you have more hair? I don't know. But a chinchilla has like 50 to 70 hairs per follicle. So they're typically going to live way up high on like a volcano bank. And so they don't take baths. Water can actually hurt them. So they take little pumice baths, like little dust baths, and they get in it and they spin around. They look like a little tornado, and it's hilarious. So they really don't like heat either. So during the summer, Mia got to hang out with me at the house, and we spent a little time together. But I will tell you that they probably have dispensed about 30 little poop pellets in the time we've been here. So be careful if you're trying to get cuddles with the cute little chinchilla, because you're gonna get gifts everywhere. And they're not chocolate gifts. They're the bad kind. They come from the other end.
They do kind of look like chocolate sprinkles.
They do. They look exactly like little tiny chocolate sprinkles all over the place. And it's not the cute thing that I like. She's cute, but I don't like the poop everywhere.
At least it's not like sloth poop.
Yeah. You have a question about chinchillas. Sure. Are sloths endangered? No. She's holding a baby sloth. I'm holding a chinchilla. A chilla. That's what I'm gonna call it. You want to chill like a chinchilla? That would be good. Yes, it is a baby. That's a baby sloth, but this is chinchilla, and I think she's actually like 4 or 5 years old. What's a good snack to make your chinchilla gain weight? Give it those little bars. They look like granola bars, and they're kind of long, and they have like all the little things for them to chew on it. Timothy hay, and then they just have, it says chinchilla food. And yeah, if they're losing weight, that means that they're stressed. So make sure that they have water, and the dust baths need to be like 2 to 3 times a week. But don't let them bathe in water. It's not good for them. Can you get a closer look at Flash? Sure. Let's see if we can zoom that in there. And he is real. Oh, look. He's like, yeah, I'm real. Check this out. He kind of reminds me of like Napoleon Dynamite. He's like, look, I know like karate. Flash.
Get this slobber everywhere.
Are you ready to go back in your area? I'll go put Mia back while he's showing off.
Come on, Mia.
He's trying to decide whether or not he wants to actually eat that green bean or spit it back out at me.
Oh, did he eat another green bean?
Yeah.
I guess I can see if Zoe feels like making a move.
Yeah. Sometimes Zoe likes to sleep in the morning. She's definitely not a morning sloth. And so it takes a little bit extra to wake her up in the morning sometimes. Hey, buddy. What's that? Oh. His least favorite zucchini. We've already brought out the green beans, and so he knows that that's what we've got now. He only wants that. Oh boy, Flash. Anybody have any questions this morning, guys? How do you get the permit to own a sloth? So here at Akoya Riverside Farm, we have the same license and permitting as zoos do. We just don't really call ourselves a zoo because at a zoo you're not going to get an experience like this where it's one-on-one. When you do a sloth encounter here on the farm, you actually get to sit and spend time with a sloth in your lap depending on the encounter that you book. The regular sloth encounter is just you spend 30 minutes with Flash, but then if you add on the VIP option, you do actually get to sit and hold a sloth afterwards then. And then we also have other encounters where you can just spend 30 minutes with holding one of our ambassador sloths. We don't hold Flash though because he has never been held and doesn't really want to be held. What's the baby sloth's name? So this is Chloe. The baby sloth is Chloe. She is seven and a half months old. And then up above me is Flash. Flash is about 7.5 years old. Why are the nails so long? The nails continuously grow just like ours do throughout their lives. You know, we would naturally file ours down too if we were digging around and doing things like animals do. And that's the same way that it works for sloths. As they're clawing on the branches and as they're climbing, they're dulling their nails down over time. And so they just wear down over time, but they do continuously grow. As well as their teeth. Their teeth do continuously grow as well. And they get super, super long by the time they get old. It's like a self-sharpening system too. The top teeth will fit just in front of the bottom teeth, just like that, and sharpen them as they're opening and closing their mouth. We're located in Benton, Tennessee. We're about halfway in between Knoxville and Chattanooga.
She's like kind of awake. I guess we could try a green bean. How you doing out here? Do you want to trade or how you
It doesn't
doing?
matter.
Yeah, try green beans.
Why can't we cut the sloth's nails? So the sloths have a super long quick in their nails, and it's kind of the same thing as dogs. Dogs with the overgrown quick can't really cut them too short. It's the same way with the sloths, so we just don't cut them because they don't really need it, and their quicks are long. So we file them down if they get super pointy. Like when they're little, they don't climb quite as much. You can see hers are just a little bit pointy, way more pointy than what Flash's are. So sometimes we take a little nail file and file them down. No, we don't ever come to Texas. We're not like a mobile facility. We're here in Benton, Tennessee, so you guys actually have to come to us, but it's super cool and it's really worth the drive to come out here or fly, whatever you prefer. Where do the sloths come from? So naturally sloths are native to Central and South America. The sloths that we have here, none of them have been taken from the rainforest. They've all been born and raised in captivity for generations. Flash is probably closer to 3 or 4 generations removed from the rainforest, where our ambassador sloths are at least 6 generations removed from the rainforest. And that's the only way that you're ever going to get a sloth that's comfortable with being, you know, in somebody's lap like this and actually enjoy being held and interacted with. But we got 3 of our sloths, the 3 ambassador sloths, from a veterinarian that has been breeding sloths for over 30 years and working with them. Can you have her make a noise? No, I can't ever force an animal to do anything they don't want to do. They'd make a noise if they wanted to. Everybody's content right now, so nobody's making noises. But if Chloe was in her basket, which is right there, taking, you know, just a little break, and she saw me over here moving around and I wasn't picking her up to hold her, she would be making a noise and she'd be going, meh, meh, and tries to get your attention. So when they're babies, they make little noises like that, or they'll go, oof, oof. And then the adults, they can make noises too. The females, when they go into heat, will actually let out a really loud screech. That sounds like a D sharp if you're into music, so it's really high pitched. And that's usually the three-toed sloths that will do that. So none of the ones that we have here will. We all have two-toed sloths here. Yes, we do have 4 sloths on the farm. We have Flash, which is right up above me, Chloe, which is right here, she's 7 months old, Zoe, which is 2 years old, and Dash, which just turned a year in August. Anybody else have any questions? Does the room being painted make them more comfortable in a way? It's up to your own personal interpretation. I think so, maybe. It's better than just the old plain brown like it used to be. When it was first painted and Flash came out here for the first time, the little branches that are painted, or the trees that are painted on the wall, he came out on the branch and was like reaching out. I'm like, what? Is this something that I can grab onto? Their depth perception is really off. Their eyesight's really poor. They have a condition called rod monochromacy, which means that they're completely colorblind, and so really what they see is just shapes and shadows. And so they can see that, I think that, you know, with color blindness, you can see different variations of kind of grays and dark colors. So he sees that there's a difference like that, and that's how he knew to kind of reach out and see that there's a brand, you know, the painted line there. But beyond that, I don't think that they really care too much about it. What's the difference between two-toed and three-toed sloths? There's a lot of differences. The main one being their skeletal structure. The two-toed sloths are a little bit bigger than the three-toed. Three-toed are a little bit more compact. They're kind of built more like sports cars, whereas the two-toed sloths are kind of more like trucks. If you look on the inside of a sloth, they have a total of 46 ribs total, and that helps them to survive falls from really high up. But then if you look at the spine of a two-toed sloth, they have like 4 or 5 extra vertebrae in their lumbar spine. That gives them the ability to have their hips facing one way and twist their upper body all the way around to look behind them. And then the three-toed sloths, they have extra vertebrae in their cervical spine that allows their head to twist 180 degrees backwards. And then there's their claws on top of that. Three-toed sloths will have 3 on the back and the front, and two-toeds just 2 on the front. She does kind of look like a little teddy bear. How do sloths help the environment? I get that question kind of often. I think that really, if you think about it kind of like on the butterfly effect scale of things, you know, the sloths have a very specific type of moth that lives on them that's really important for them, and if they didn't have those moths, we wouldn't have sloths around anymore. They require those to be able to survive. And if for whatever reason the moths disappeared, we wouldn't have sloths anymore. So if you think about that for the other animals in the rainforest, if we didn't have sloths around anymore, we might not have another animal around anymore in the way that it works. They also have a very specific type of moss and algae that lives on their back that has different purposes for the ecosystems and everything. I'm about to burn up in this sweatshirt.
All right, we're gonna let Michaela take a little break there. You kind of get a little warm when we're talking. So we're gonna spin the camera around and go check out Zoe here. Zoe loves to put on a little performance sometimes. Where are you gonna go, Zoe? You wanna come out and say hi? Guys, this is Zoe. This was our first baby here at Ecoe Riverside Farm. She wasn't born here, but let's say she got the baby treatment. She's kind of like firstborn. So she'll be turning 2 December 16th. Flash is the oldest sloth we have here, and he's 7. And then we also have Dash. Dash is about 15 months old. And then we have Chloe. Chloe's 7 months old. Where are you going over there, Zoe? Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Ecoe Riverside Farm. This is Zoe. She's a 2-fingered or 2-toed Linnaeus sloth. She's cruising around this morning. We do a cool thing here called the Sloth Keeper experience. So you get to spend 3 hours with all of the sloths. So, pretty cool thing to do. You want some little snacks here, Zoe? Oh yeah, she likes that. So we do hold Zoe. Sometimes she wants to come hang out. Sometimes she's not feeling it. We'll see what happens today. The cool thing here with having 4 sloths is if one sloth isn't feeling it, then we just kind of rotate to the other one. We do not force animals to do anything that they do not want to do. So if they don't want to hang out or don't want to eat or don't want to be held, we're not going to make them do that. We're live here at Coe Riverside Farm. I'm Kevin, and this is Zoe. She's a 2-fingered or 2-toed Linnaeus sloth. How big are their teeth? They're huge. They're kind of canine, but they call them premolars. Michaela's are 14 or 16, do you remember?
There's four molars, 8 molars on the bottom, 8 on the top, and then 4 of the premolars.
Gotcha. A lot of teeth and pretty big. How do you tell if they don't want to be held? They go away. So Chloe and Zoe and Dash, they're going to reach out to you and pretty much just climb onto you. They seek human interaction. Where do the moss on them come from? They come from the jungle and they live in the poop pile. Well, they live in the poop pile, but they also lay eggs in the poop pile and in the fur. There's no sloth moss on our sloths because we're not out in the jungle. They got the start of the bacteria from their mom, and they got it from their mom, and so on and so forth. Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Coe Riverside Farm. We have an upside-down sloth having a little bit of brunch. Her name's Zoe, but we have 4 sloths here. So we have Zoe, Chloe, Flash, and Dash. I know Zoe. I'm working on it, girl. She's like, I got stuff to do. So where's everybody watching from this morning? We're here in Benton, Tennessee. How old is Zoe? She'll be 2, December 16th. That's really soon, Michaela. We should have a birthday party.
I know, we need to plan something.
Yeah. Texas, Houston, lots of Texas. Well, good morning, everybody. Do they only have 1 toe in the front? No, these little guys have 2 toes. So there's 2-toed and 3-toed sloths. And we have 2-toed. 3-toed sloths have a much more specific diet. They are not usually found in North America, obviously never natively, but there is one in the Fort Worth Zoo in Texas. Maybe there's a nice gentleman out there that's got a jet and he flies some leaves back and forth for the sloths. I don't know. Arizona, good morning. Las Vegas, how's it going? Have you been through that boring tunnel thing that they have in Vegas? You like go underground? Heard that thing's awesome. Are they marsupials? They are not marsupials. Pennsylvania, good morning, Pennsylvania. Sorry about that, everybody. I was blocking the camera with my silly self. This is Zoe. She's a 2-fingered or 2-toed Linnaeus sloth. We're feeding her a little bit of breakfast. You see how she's hanging like this? So their relaxed state is actually clamped on. So even when they're holding you or a tree, even if they're not thinking about it, they're good to go. That's how God designed them. So on their palms right there, or right there, their pads, it's leather, kind of just like a monkey's palm or a monkey's tail. Feels almost exactly the same. Michigan, good morning, Michigan. How's it going? Do they bite? Yes, they bite. They have a mouth with teeth, and that's how they eat. We don't want them to bite us. Sloths have monorod chromacy. It means they can't see. So you have to think about that. So when I'm feeding them squash, you'll see that the squash and my finger look very similar. So when you guys come and you're feeding our sloths, we ask that once you put the food into their mouth, that you move your hand away because your finger looks just like the food. And the sloths have horrible vision. So let's use our brains and not put our fingers in the sloth's mouths. Right, Zoe? Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Coe Riverside Farm. This is Zoe. She's an upside-down sloth, kind of hanging out this morning, wondering how she got here on a Thursday. Minnesota, good morning. Bite it? No, I'm not biting this sloth. They don't like that. Cincinnati, Ohio, good morning. Loudon, Tennessee. That's right up the road, isn't it, Michaela?
Yeah.
Loudon. Well, thank you, neighbor, for watching. We appreciate that. We appreciate everybody watching and following and sharing. That really helps to get the word out and helps keep these cute little animals warm, because I don't know if you guys have been outside, but it's a little chilly. Here's the deal with sloths. They need their environment to be between 75 to 80 degrees, almost 85 all the time. If they don't, the bacteria that's inside their system can actually die off. And I really like these little guys. So we're going to keep their environment nice and toasty. And we're going to make sure that they're healthy and warm and well cared for. We are feeding her a little bit of sweet potato, squash, green bean, and some cucumber, I think. Alabama! Good morning, Alabama. Thank you for watching. Chicago, Illinois. Bring us some pizza from Chicago, please. Missouri. Good morning, Missouri. Hope you're having a great day. Good morning, everybody. We're live here at Cowie Riverside Farm. I'm Kevin, and this is Zoe. And I think that she is about the cutest little thing ever. I barely bumped her little arm, and she's like, hey, I'm sorry, Zoe. Here you go. So when I put the food in her mouth, we want to move our hand away. They have monorod chromacy. It means that they can't see really well. So we want to be nice and easy and make it easy for them. So when we feed them, then we move our hand away. There you go. Not a lot to it. So, if you guys have ever wanted to be a sloth keeper, that is an experience that we offer here at Cowie Riverside Farm. Now, it's 3 hours long, so it's a big chunk of time, but you're spending 3 hours with all of our sloths. So we have 4 sloths here at Cowie Riverside Farm, and if that's what you want to do, it's pretty cool. Another thing that a lot of people like to do who maybe haven't had the whole farm experience before is farm hand for the day. And that's going around and caring for all of the animals. Pretty cool. Fallon's been doing a lot of horse rides here at the farm. We've been working on doing the horse rides off property also. In terms of things to do up here at the Cowie, off of the farm, so we have Benton Falls. That's a very short drive away. We do guided hikes there, and it is gorgeous. Hey Zoe, how you feeling, girl? Yum. Where is the farm? We are in Benton, Tennessee, halfway between Chattanooga and Knoxville. We have over 150 animals. It's pretty cool, and the covered wagons are right on the banks of the river. I know, Zoe. I'm her again. Let's see here. What did I miss? Sloths are your favorite animal? Well, guess what? We have 4 of them here. Are you done, Zuzu? I think she's done. Well, thank you, Donna. I really appreciate that. Hey, JoJo and BC, thank you for watching. How much is it, and can you hold them or just feed them? Yes, we have sloths that you can hold, sloths that you can feed, sloths that you can cuddle, and sloths that you can snuggle. I do feel like it might be a Dr. Seuss book, but we do have all of those activities. So, depending on what you want to do, yes, we have that. And we also do bottle feeding of baby kangaroos. You think Flash is about ready to go in? Alright, so Flash is going to go into his area. What's really cool about where Flash lives is it's 2 stories, and get this, guys, if you're staying upstairs, you get Flash for a roommate.
You ready?
Yep. Alright, so when Flash gets ready to go into his room, I think it's like some of the smoothest climbing I've ever seen. And I used to rock climb a little bit, and I'm pretty envious of how smooth he is. What you think, Flash? We going for a walk? He's like, you're blocking my way, man. Are you gonna get the good shot or not? Thank you, Flash. You were there yesterday and you had a VIP with Dash. Well, awesome. I'm so glad you had a good experience. That's what it's all about here, is creating memories that will last a lifetime. There goes Flash. Where you going, bud? So he does have an outdoor area, but we're not letting him outside today, guys. It's like only 40-something degrees. Sloths really need their environment to be between 75 to 80 degrees. Because without that, the bacteria is not going to be able to survive. And if I'm shaking just a little bit, it's because the tripod starts to weigh or feel heavier. But Flash is putting on a show. Thank you, Flash. I just got stuck there for a second. Are you gonna go up, bud? Alright. I'm gonna see if I can readjust it for you guys. I'm sure that angle is not good. Let's see here. Do we have grills on site? We do. Can you stay here? You sure can. Right up there where Flash is the Sloth suite. So that big window that we're looking at, that's where the Sloth suite is. And you can actually stay with Flash. We'll probably go tour that here in just a minute. But yeah, it's pretty amazing. That big glass window, it has the ability to hold 10 people up there. 3 master suites, 2 hidden bunk rooms. It is phenomenal. Beautifully decorated, has everything that you would need. All right, good night, Flash. Let's see if we can get you guys where he is. All right, so that's Flash up in there in his hammock. And then as we spin around, notice that's the Sloth suite right up there. So, pretty cool space if you've ever wanted a sloth for a roommate. At least I think it's pretty cool. All right, guys, we're gonna get reset and then we'll go live again here in just a minute and show you guys the Sloth suite or the wagons. Which one should we show next? What would you guys like to see? It's up to you. Do you want to see what the Sloth suite looks like, or do you want to see the covered wagons? Those are one of the two that we're gonna go look at. So you want to see the wagon, okay? You want to see the baby zebra. I don't know if Zeke's down here. Sweet, Sloth suite. Okay, I hear a lot of Sloth suites. All right, guys, we will go back live in about 5-10 minutes. I'm gonna get a quick sip of a drink. We will go check out maybe even both of them. We can see if I can find enough Diet Cokes to get me through the next couple minutes. Thank you so much for watching, for all the shares and all the follows and likes. Everybody here at the farm really appreciate it. I hope that you're having a wonderful holiday season. And don't forget the real reason for holidays, it's Christmas. The birth of Jesus Christ, and that's what we're celebrating here at the farm. Have a wonderful holiday and Merry Christmas, and we'll be back here soon. Talk to you soon. Bye.